welcome to the Stellar Devils preview show. Myself, Graham Munsey, joined by Dave Harley as we look ahead to a visit of the Belle Vue Colts to Armadale on Friday night as the Devils look to build on that win last time out against Plymouth. Dave, it's matches are kind of coming by rest of the season standards anyway, thick and fast for the Devils now. That's what the guys want, and a chance to build on that result there, albeit I looked down that Belle Vue team and I'm not sure where the weak points are in that one. I think it'll be a big challenge for the Devils come Friday night.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm sure they've been desperate to be racing the week after they beat Plymouth. But didn't have to wait too long before the next fixture. And yeah, tough one against Belle Vue. We know how it didn't go so well when we went to the National Speedway Stadium early in the season. I think it was 69-21, the final score.
That's an understatement, Dave.
Yes. However, in the last meeting between the two sides on Saturday night at the National League Pairs, the Devils won 5-4. So it's a sign of optimism, and hopefully the Devils can kick on. And they know they need to pick up potentially another couple of points if they want to avoid that wooden spoon. And matches at home, get Lee Complin start to come into his own. He's having some cracking rides, and he's now been picked up by Plymouth in the championship. So yeah, great opportunity for the Devils to kick on and try and achieve that. Will be a difficult one on Friday night, but it's not impossible, Graham.
Not impossible indeed, and of course, Dave, me and you, big fans of a 5-4 victory over a rival. That's what we hang our hats on here on the preview show on Friday Focuses. But yeah, you mentioned it'll be tough. Of course, the new month by Friday, although I don't know quite how the average. I guess Lee Complin maybe just gets a new average. Is that why they switch about?
That's it, yeah.
I was going to say it's not actually in September yet, is it? Which sees Tom Woolley move to number 1. That'll move Danny Phillips to number 3. Only slots in at number 5, and that's something I think actually might quite suit the Devils a wee bit. Lee's one of those guys that I sometimes think warms into a meeting and likes to go out and see kind of what the conditions are like and that kind of thing. So it's why most riders like that kind of pristine Heat 1 track. It's maybe not up to Lee's favour, whereas Tom Woolley generally pretty sharp out the gate, so him moving to number 1 should hopefully be able to continue on. And he had an excellent meeting, as you mentioned, as the Devils claimed that silver medal in the National League Pairs last Saturday at Leicester. So all change there, but beyond that, it's as it should be. Both teams currently line up with their 1-7. So of course we'll see Josh Embleton and Elliot Kelly looking to keep progressing, and Gregor Miller and Kieran Lydon at reserve, who both, I didn't actually catch much, if any, of the Northern Junior League match, but Kieran, I noticed, was in the lineup for that last week, so he'll have had a little bit more Armadale experience. So that's all good as well. So yeah, there's plenty of optimism there. The guys are buzzing. I spoke to Tom for this week's programme, and he said, not just him and Elliot, but like the whole team's group chat was going crazy, and everyone was buzzing with that second place at the Devils or at the Pairs last week. So that's the kind of thing you want to hear, and that's the spirit that hopefully, it's you kind of forget the Monarch season league-wise is over. We're just waiting on the playoffs and the cup semi-final second leg. But actually, the Devils have still got somewhere in the region of 4 out of 14 fixtures, so more than a quarter of their league campaign left starting on Friday. So, a couple of home wins. Who knows what they could do at Kent or Plymouth, and just make sure they don't finish bottom. I think that's everyone's aim now. The playoffs are gone, but there's still pride to be raced for, and that'll be what everyone's going for on Friday night.
Yeah, and as we always say, at this level, it is about track time and trying to build. Like I said, Danny Phillips and Tom Woolley are trying to get themselves to the next level, get them opportunity at a championship team. So if they finish the season strongly, they put themselves a wee bit in the shop window for next season. And for the likes of Josh, Elliott, and Gregor and Kieran, it's about getting more track time, more experience under their belt, and building on. I mean, it's fantastic for Elliott on Saturday night. The picking up the points he picked up to make sure the Devils got into that final and got that silver medal. So good to see him come on, because he had a lot of potential when he was going last season. So and they want to be on track. They're going to be there. They've got, as you say, they've still got, was it 4 matches left?
Yep, starting Fridays, 4 matches left.
So yeah, and we don't know when the Plymouth match will be. It was supposed to be next Tuesday at Plymouth, but that's obviously been moved to allow the Gladiators to finish their league campaign. So keep an eye on Devils social media for when that match is rearranged. But yeah, no, it's there for the taking, and then Belle Vue are aiming for the playoffs themselves. So it'll be a competitive match as Belle Vue are really seeking points to make sure they finish top four.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Dave, everyone in the Devils camp is definitely up for it, as we hear now.
Yeah, so that's just kind of what I was going to say. I guess obviously the team are on as much of a high as we've been all year. Obviously, a couple of weeks ago, beat Plymouth at home. Fantastic performance by Tom and Elliot at the Pairs last week. And I know, speaking to Tom, that was everyone at the club was boosted by that. He was telling me the group chat, all the boys were in it, G'd up and cheering everyone on and stuff. So I think you're right. The team's probably never been in a better position. Weirdly, although from when you look about the rest of the leagues, everyone thinks the leagues are coming to a close. The Devils have actually still got more than a quarter of their league campaign left to go, so there's still a chance. Starting Friday, go out, get that home win on the board, and start looking to make sure that the wooden spoon's avoided.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the plan. I think was it? I can't remember who was riding at Kent last week. Can't remember who it was, but yeah, just looking at getting their bikes right. Lee will have more. I know we shouldn't rely on. Well, we've got to rely on the heat leaders to put in a good performance, and then we would hope that they'd get a bit of from Elliot and Gregor and Josh. Kieran's still a bit raw around Armadale, but he can be quick. He just needs a bit of time to settle in. So yeah, let's just keep our fingers crossed. They'll certainly be trying. Oxford was a very difficult match. Nobody was doing particularly well. Lee had a couple of heats where he was there or thereabouts, and I think he won one. But everybody else struggled. Nobody had seen, apart from Lee, nobody had seen that track before, let alone ride it. And it just shows what a big advantage the home track is. So hopefully this Friday we can do the job,
Yeah, and I think you kind of touched on it already. For me, and you can agree or disagree, obviously, the key battles on Friday may well actually be second string and reserve. I think the Devils heat leaders will look after themselves, and guys like Harry McGurk and Jack Smith maybe aren't renowned for being the best round Armadale, but then you look lower down Belle Vue's lineup, and Nathan Ablett at number 2 scored, I think, was it paid 5 or paid 6 when Poole were up in the championship. Archie Freeman, of course, a former, and we won't go into the ins and outs of should have been a Devil again this year, but knows the track inside out. So actually, probably the key battles for me this weekend are in that second string and reserve spot.
Yeah, absolutely. Greg is going to have to go some to beat Archie, but he can do it if he's got his head in the right place. If he doesn't make any silly mistakes at the start line, if he gets a good start, as he can do. We've been watching a few videos, as instructional videos, if you like, just to give them a bit more, or just to give him a bit more confidence, because sometimes he worries about things instead of just getting on the bike and riding,
Yeah.
Which I suppose is all part of gaining experience, and some people just take to it immediately and don't worry about anything and show no nerves. Other people show nerves when it's important, and I've always said to him, if you're not nervous, it means you don't really worry, you don't really
don't care enough.
Yeah, you're not keen enough. I was told that I used to play rugby when I was a bit younger and fitter, and our coach was an ex-Welsh international, And even he said, if you're not nervous, it means you don't care, and if you don't care about the result, you shouldn't be there. So nerves are part of the job, aren't they?
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
I guess just kind of lastly, and maybe not even related to this Friday, but probably coming towards the end of the second season of the Devils, being back in your second season in charge, still something you're enjoying and still something you're getting everything out of, albeit this season's maybe been a little bit harder than last, but still something you're fully enjoying and fully on board with.
Yes, I get as disappointed as the guys and as frustrated as the guys do, probably more, to be honest. And there's very little influence that I can have on. I look at the management role in other places, and I think, what is there that you can do apart from a bit of talking and a bit of cajoling and motivation, I suppose. But you get very frustrated. You feel like you want to get on a bike and do it for them, But yes, still enjoying it immensely, and I would enjoy it even more if we got a few wins under our belt.
Well, Dave, everyone up for it in the Devils camp, but as we've mentioned, it won't be easy. You look down the Colts lineup, the visiting lineup, and Jake Mulford probably should be in the championship, but with his other commitments and grass and was it long track he does as well, certainly grass track. He kind of doesn't want to commit himself to a weekend track. Yeah. That's fine. Jack Smith, he's been about long enough. The McGurk boys, albeit Sam that had a bit of a nightmare. He won't remember Armadale too fondly for his visit with Plymouth. But if you want to see the strength in that Belle Vue lineup, you only look at Nathan Ablett at number 2, and he scored, was it paid 4 at least, certainly for Poole, the championship. And then it was there of Archie Freeman and Freddie Hodder. Archie, of course, was a highly touted prospect a couple of years ago. It's maybe leveled off a wee bit, but still has plenty of time to kick on, and was a Devil last year and was going to be a Devil this year before the lure of the National Speedway Stadium took him a little bit further down south. And Freddie Hodder, who's been piling up, I noticed he put in a paid 15 or something for the Colts at home last week as well. So, there's strength throughout there. So it's going to take a big ask off the Devils. But as you say, Belle Vue will be coming looking for points. It's up to the home men to make sure they go home empty-handed.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, there's lots of names we all recognise in that Belle Vue team. I think when Archie's probably more consolidated this season, he's still really young to be saying he's started to stall. I think that
I think level off. I think level off. Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, he's at reserve, so if there are, right, and we know how well he can go at Armadale, so if any of the top 5 aren't firing, there will be opportunities for Belle Vue to change. I mean, Harry McGucks, unfortunately, he was dropped by Plymouth as a result of that Lee Copland change. So, but yeah, Nathan Ablett was a real surprise packet for Poole, and they've got as you say, where Harry, Sam McGuck leads the junior championship as well, and the finals, and Freddie Hodder's up there 4th place as well. So they've got lots of guys learning and picking up speedway, and they're on that fantastic track at Belle Vue. They've been racking up the points, but different challenge for them at Friday coming to Armadale. It's a completely different ball game to the National Speedway Stadium. So hopefully the Devils can take advantage of that and pick up a win.
Yep, that's the aim. 3 points for the Devils, and of course, as I say, not really worried about too much of the playoffs. So, it's the old used to be 40-38. Now it's 49-41, but for Friday, we'll go with happiness as 46-44, Dave. I'm sure anyone in the Devils camp would be quite happy with that come the end of Heat 15 on Friday. Of course, if you want to get yourself along, tickets are available now. Both EdinburghMonarch.co.uk and ArmadaleDevils.co.uk, and buy tickets as your link for that. And the match will be live streamed also. EMTV is your link for that on both the Edinburgh and Armadale websites also. And if you do make a late decision to come, cash at the gate, always in operation as well, Dave. So no excuse not to be there, not to watch. If you're watching this, well, you're not watching the match for. We'll certainly be there. So we hope you are too. And as always, we'll look for some good action. We like to whet the appetite a little bit by showing some action. This time we're only going back just over 12 months, Dave. We're going back to the Belle Vue Colts visit to Armadale last year, and this time it was heat number 7. And this is Tom Woolley against Paul Bowen and Benji Compton.
Here we go then. 8-7 rerun. 3 men only. Benji Compton, Tom Woolley and Paul Bowen. And Tom is away better. He's got to the corner first. There you go. Benji attacking on the inside. Oh, he's coming in much quicker than Tom. That's a lovely turn. Tom battling back. What a tremendous race this is. Benji quicker into the top turn. Tom cutting back. And Tom's through again. Marvellous.
Good stuff. Good ride this for both riders.
Tom drifted off the line a bit there, but he's still holding the lead. Where are we? End of lap 3, and Benji's pressing again on that inside line. Benji's
problem.
Come to a halt. He'll finish the race, no doubt, but unfortunately it spoils what's been one of the best races we've had here this season. A win for Tom Woolley. Second place eventually to Paul Bowen, and an unlucky third to Benji Compton, who was winning the first time, was having a superb battle with Tom Woolley in the rerun, but only gets third in the end. And I'm sure the Colts will feel somewhat aggrieved there that they effectively got a 4-2 the first time and had that ruled out. This time it's a 3-3.
Just so
but well done to
there
Tom
for
Woolley.
Compton.
Sorry, what was that?
I was so unfortunate there for Compton. It was entertaining, that.
Definitely, yeah. It was a terrific wee race.
Some great action there, Dave, and hopefully we'll all see more of the same. As I say, tickets available now at both Edinburgh Monarchs and Armadale Devils website, and EMTV on both of those websites is your link to pick up the stream. Just before we finish up, of course, as we counted down how many matches the Devils have got left, we're also counting down how many matches are left at Armadale. The kind of planning is in progress just now for the new site, but if you are a West Lothian resident, you can help us along. If you go to Edinburgh Monarchs website, which I've said before, but is edinburghmonarchs.co.uk, there's a link on there just with a few details. We're just asking anyone in West Lothian who is a Monarch supporter or is just happy to see professional sport in the area, drop your local councillor, drop your local MP a wee email, a wee message, just say how much you enjoy going, what they bring to the community, all that kind of thing. Just to remind them as this sort of planning progress is going through, just to remind them how important the Monarchs are to the local community and how nice it is to have a professional sports team there. So again, edinburghmonarchs.co.uk. There's a link there with some of the details, and just do your little bit to support what is a key time for the club. Is hopefully, Dave, we'll be talking in April, May next year from a nice shiny new stadium. That's what we're all hoping for. But until then, there's plenty of action still to come at Armadale. That starts this Friday, 7:30 as your tape's up, with the Stellar Devils against the Belle Vue Colts. I'll be there. Dave will be there because, Dave?
Friday night, Speedway night. Let's keep it that way.
Friday night, Speedway night. We'll see you then. Thanks very much. Goodbye.